The misery of a vicious mother. Yesterday, I hosted a banquet with a group of classmates to welcome him back to the motherland from the distant Belt and Road countries. And join us in the grand event and enjoy the National Day mooncakes. I haven't seen him for many years. And the once handsome teenager is now slightly frosted on his temples. And the beauty camera is turned on to the maximum. And it is still difficult to hide the greasy appearance of middle-aged people in the photos taken. As soon as this person sighed, he couldn't stand the frequent toasting. And after several rounds of staggered cup and cup change, the protagonist who returned to China gradually lost his strength to drink. He leaned back on the back of the chair with dull eyes and spit out a sentence expressionlessly, "My mother, it's gone." The wine table, which was originally laughing and scolding the noisy crowd, was instantly silent, and after a long time, someone tentatively asked, "When is it?" "I didn't hear you say that." The returning classmate sighed and replied, "This year's third day of the Lunar New Year. As early as when we were in junior high school." The classmates in the class had a legend that he was a returnee with a great background. And his father was a high-powered and powerful leader. And the school's teachers' respectful and flattering attitude towards their returnees was just right to confirm this. I remember one time when there was a parent-teacher meeting in the class. I was in charge of receiving the parents as a member of the study committee. And I was very impressed by the mother of my classmates who had returned to China. It was a very tall and thin middle-aged woman, well-dressed, with slightly dark skin, a pair of sharp and shrewd hanging eyes that were intimidating, high cheekbones, slightly collapsed mountain roots, and then thin lips with bewitching red lipstick. For some reason, I was a little afraid of her. And throughout the parent-teacher meeting, the woman kept asking questions about her son's situation, and interrupted the teacher again and again. The teacher's face was full of friendly smiles from beginning to end, and he answered them one by one respectfully. After the parent-teacher meeting, the homeroom teacher took me all the way to the school gate, nodded and bowed 3 times. I noticed that the woman didn't say goodbye, and got into the black Audi car parked on the side of the road and walked away. He said that my father had already intentionally parted ways with his mother, and that his mother was holding him in his hands when he first entered the officialdom. This powerful evidence hung high above the head of his classmate father like Shang Feng's sword for many years, forcing him to weaken his knees and obey his wife's words. A classmate who returned to China told us that when she was in junior high school, her grandmother, who was far away in her rural hometown, lost her eyes and ulcerated her feet due to diabetes, and she was completely bedridden. His father insisted on taking the old man to Beijing to support his filial piety. The schoolmate's mother first threw her anger and insisted on refusing to accept it, and then showed her sword to threaten to denounce her father. But his father was resolute, and he would rather lose his official position and give up his post than personally support his old mother. The mother's mother was helpless, and finally took the old lady into the house with a grudge. The father of the classmate had little time at home due to his busy official duties, so he hired a nanny to take care of the elderly. Who knew that less than half a month after the old lady came to Beijing, her condition deteriorated sharply and she died. At the funeral, the mother of the classmate cried earth-shatteringly. Snot and tears gushed endlessly, changing the tough temperament of being strong and cold in the past. Just when his father was almost moved, the nanny at home secretly told them that his mother had been feeding the old man high-sugar fruits and drinking high-sugar fruit juices for several days, and she had tried to stop her. But the mother of the classmate viciously threatened to dare to do more and send your son to prison in minutes. Now that the old lady is gone, the nanny always feels that the matter is very important after thinking about it. And if she does not tell the truth, her conscience is disturbed. and she is afraid of evil retribution, so she quietly told the father and son the truth. The classmate said that his father didn't say anything when he heard this. But his face was blue and he clenched his back molars. And the muscles on his cheeks twitched one by one, which was very scary. In a blink of an eye, my classmates graduated from high school and studied the most popular major of Imperial Capital University of Economics and Business. During this period, his father's official fortune was prosperous step by step, and his mother became more and more high-flying. Once had an argument with a classmate, and in a hurry. The classmate scolded the upper beam is not right and the lower beam is crooked. Your father is a well-dressed beast, raising a junior outside, giving birth to a son. The classmate was very surprised, and asked his father about the opportunity. But his father was vain and did not give him a clear answer. In his junior year, his classmates finally broke out into a family war. At the level of a nuclear explosion. In the face of his mother's hysterical and angry attack, the father of the classmate did not explain much and admitted everything in silence, calculated from the age of the third son. It should be in the year of the death of his classmate's grandmother that his father began to have an outside heart and put it into practice. The parents of the classmate did not divorce in the end. And all kinds of intricate entanglements of interests firmly bound the resentful couple to everything, becoming grasshoppers on a rope. After many years in such a blatant and covert, the classmates got married. And the lover was chosen by the parents after thousands of choices. After the new daughter-in-law entered the door, the mother of the classmate made it difficult to look at in every possible way. And the other party was also from a big family, so she naturally did not hesitate to do so. The conflict erupted over time. And his classmate's mother angrily ordered him to divorce his wife. But the classmate's wife and his father did not agree. And the three of them worked together to fight against his mother's Qinwei. One day, my classmate drank too much at lunch and drank too much. And when he got home, he fell asleep unconscious. His father either stayed in the office or soaked in the small mansion, and was not at home during the normal year. In the evening, his wife entered the door after work and found that the house was dark and quiet. And the atmosphere was particularly weird. She walked upstairs to the little couple's room in the dark. And at the moment when she fumbled to turn on the light, she hit the unbearable scene that shattered the three views. Her own mother-in-law actually slept naked in the same bed with her husband. My classmate's wife turned around and left, and the next day I couldn't help but say that I resolutely filed for divorce. My classmate was confused at the time. And the reason given by his ex-wife was that the family style was degraded. And she couldn't bear it, so she gave up all the joint property of the husband and wife. And just wanted to leave quickly. The classmate and his father thought that she was referring to the matter of the outer house and the illegitimate child, and felt that, since the other party already knew, it was pointless to force it to continue. It wasn't until after the death of his classmate's mother this year that he was shocked to hear about the major secret of his ex-wife's insistence on divorce that year. And he was stunned and unbelievable. As a mother, in order to achieve the absurd obsession in her heart, she actually did such a thing, and her classmates began to tremble when they talked about it, and broke out into drunken hysterical laughter. After the divorce, my classmate applied to the company and took the initiative to be sent to the overseas department. He remarried and had children in the distant Belt and Road countries, and lived a step-by-step life, and it was rare to return to China for several years. He couldn't tell why, but he just felt that his family was depressed and deformed. And his mother was like an evil and dictatorial witch who lived in the house all the year round. Not long after his classmate went abroad, his father was audited and investigated, and then lost his official position and became a commoner. His father was so happy that he was unofficial and light, and lived in a small mansion all the year round. enjoying the joy of family life with the mother and wife over there. One day at the beginning of last year, the father of the classmate suddenly received a call from his wife, and was extremely frightened to say that the mother-in-law, who had been dead for many years, came back to take revenge, and she had to pick her eyeballs every night. On the phone, the father of the classmate only said 4 words: "Take the blame for yourself," and then resolutely hung up the phone. Not long after, the classmate's mother was diagnosed with a malignant brain tumor, and the classmate's father thought about the good husband and wife, and paid for her to hire a nanny. Later, I heard from the nanny that the mother of the classmate had nightmares and hallucinations every night, and she always said that someone was riding on her neck and picking out her eyeballs. In less than half a year, due to the tumor compressing the optic nerve, the mother of the classmate was really blind. In the last days of her life, this ruthless woman lay alone in the dark, with nightmares and screams. During the Chinese New Year this year, the nanny returned to her hometown on vacation. The father of the classmate only went to see his mother every night, to make sure that she was still angry. On the 3rd day of the Lunar New Year, in the sound of firecrackers to bid farewell to the old and welcome the new, the mother of the classmate passed away alone, and there was no relative by her side when she died. There are 2 kinds of people in this world: a kind of discipline, even in the face of great temptation, cannot be moved, stick to the bottom line, and hold the most basic and fundamental moral sentiment of a person. There is another kind of person who has no lower limit, even if they get a little benefit. It is worth selling their relatives and friends, losing their conscience. As long as they can satisfy the surging desires in their hearts, they will do everything they can. But people are doing it, and the sky is watching. I wonder where this kind of person comes from. Where does he have the self-confidence to be fearless? To do all the things that harm others, to benefit himself. Despicable and lack of morality. And to wait for the evil retribution to appear before he knows fear and awe. Can it still be useful?
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and put notification on to watch more videos. If you have similar experience, please comment and let me know your experience.